And I want to say this to the television audience, because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook.
Hi, my name is Eric Harrison, and welcome to my nonpartisan, neutral news channel, Political Tricks, where I mean to uncover all the sneaky little tricks that politicians and the media use on both sides of the aisle to prevent us from having a functioning democracy. So welcome to the world of political tricks.
Newly elected congressman caught lying about his background is talking publicly about it for the first time.
Did I embellish my resume? Yes, I did. And I'm sorry.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House! Ah! Please clap.
I don't know why that's funny.
Sure, because the rich buy politicians to write laws to say that whatever they want is legal.
Public service is a profound responsibility.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing. Yeah, mocked, I guess that's the word, yeah.
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body.
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aww.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
I mean...
So for our final example of this logical fallacy, we're going to take a look at a very cleverly placed false equivalency in a news segment where seasoned journalist Van Jones covers a controversial protests and riots that occurred at a Jewish synagogue in Los Angeles. So let's take a look.
President Biden is condemning Sunday's violent street protests between Los Angeles pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel counter-demonstrators. Protest organizers say they were targeting a synagogue where an Israel real estate event was taking place.
If you don't like what's happening in Gaza, it's your right to protest. That's not a problem. But you protest a policy. You don't protest a people. When you protest a policy, you go to City Hall and you protest. You go to the Israeli consulate peacefully, you protest. Maybe you go to your elected representative, you protest. You don't bum rush a Jewish neighborhood and run up on a synagogue. That's not protesting a policy, that's protesting a people. And that is across any line in America, and it has to be called out. So we've got to get clear in our country what is a fair protest about policy, you can agree or disagree, and what's going after people, human beings, terrifying moms, grandmas, children who are trying to be a part of a neighborhood. The Jewish neighborhoods in LA are well known. Nobody is confused where they are. So if you show up there wearing a keffiyeh, you show up there with your face covered, you show up there chanting river to the sea, that would be just like a white person running up with a Confederate flag in Harlem. You're not trying to start a conversation, you're trying to start a fight.
In this new segment, we see Van Jones saying all the right things. That first of all, we shouldn't protest the people, we should only protest the policy. I think we can all agree with that. And then second of all, that we shouldn't protest at a house of worship. I mean, you shouldn't go to a synagogue and protest there. And, especially in a neighborhood like that where there has been ethnic violence towards Jews. So this all makes sense. However, I should add it as a caveat that at that synagogue, there was a real estate deal that was occurring that was selling Palestinian land in the West Bank to non-Arabs, and that is a highly controversial move to be happening, especially on the United States soil, and that's part of the reason that the protest happened at that synagogue. However, I think it's still a bad idea. I think most people would agree that it's still a bad idea to protest at a synagogue, at a house of worship. So Van Jones moves on from making some very salient points to making a comparison that quite startled me. He compared the keffiyeh, which is a regional scarf worn by Arabs in that part of the world, to the Confederate flag. Now, most people wouldn't make this kind of comparison. First of all, a flag is just a flag, and the Confederate flag in particular represents a slave state and therefore bad human values in the minds of most people. However, the keffiyeh has a more varied reception. It's true that a lot of people do associate the keffiyeh with a terrorist organization within the Palestinian liberation movement because of the atrocities that have been committed by people wearing that scarf. However, the vast majority of people who do wear the keffiyeh are peaceful Arabs. And the vast majority of protesters are also peaceful who are wearing that scarf. And so, taking this back to what Van Jones said, and taking this into account, Is Van Jones right? Or is he wrong? Technically, he's right. I mean, a Jewish person at a synagogue who sees a pro-Palestinian protester arrive at the front door, might associate them with a terrorist and might feel fear, feel afraid. Just in the same way that a black person in Harlem at a church who sees a white person arrive at the front door with a Confederate flag might also feel. So sure, the keffiyeh and the Confederate flag might have the same effects on a population in the narrow window that Van Jones used to compare them. However, it is still a false equivalency because the target audience knows that the Confederate flag suggests such extreme characteristics as racism, slavery, oppression, and even evil. And because human beings are symbolic, and because they tend to stay away from associations they know to be socially unacceptable, the target audience is unconsciously aware that through this comparison, a suggestion is possibly being made that the keffiyeh is also unacceptable in similar ways to the Confederate flag. And this is not only a false equivalency, but a very, very clever political trick. And whether or not this was a planned political trick or just a sloppy, off-the-cuff remark, I think this is a good example of how even when making a comparison that makes sense, you should really be careful in choosing what you're comparing. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And don't forget to comment, like, and most of all, please subscribe. Thank you so much.